Okay, everybody, this is Sheets, and I'm going to be going over the full preview of the Breeders' Cup for this Friday and Saturday. It looked pretty dicey for a while as to whether they were going to get the Breeders' Cup done, what with COVID and everything, but timing worked out really nicely, and they're going to run it. And, you know, I know that some people think Kentucky Derby and some of the Triple Crown races are the most important horse races, but Breeders' Cup Day is by far the most important day in horse racing. It is the best day to bet on because there's millions and millions in the pool. A lot of it is, you know, kind of public money, and you can get a really, really big edge. And if you're a really, really big bettor as well, you are not going to, you know, cost yourself equity by taking your own money. In other words, if you play some of the smaller tracks, you want to play for a lot of money, you're going to affect your own price by bringing your own, you know, by betting too much into the pools. And also it's good for you guys that this is Breeders' Cup because I can actually give out, you know, my advice for without fear of costing myself equity. Because again, if I were going to give my normal picks out for the normal horses that I might play, it would just be terrible for me to do that because I would just be costing myself my own equity. But there's just so much money in the pools for this event that it's not going to affect me at all. So I'm more than happy to do it. So here's the problem with doing horse racing content in general is that everything with horse racing is price-based. A horse could be great at 2-1, terrible at even money. A horse could be a great 10-1 shot, but if it was 3-1, it would be horrible. And, you know, when I do this content, it's, you know, well before the races are going. So it's really important that you guys, if you're going to bet these races, to wait until as late as possible to do so because you want to know what your odds are. And odds are very volatile, and you want to make your decisions as close to the races as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go over what I feel are the most likely winners, and also what I feel rate to be the best values given, you know, the morning line, which is at least an early approximation for the odds are going to be. But more important, I'm going to give you some guidance as to what odds to look for in some of these horses so that if you're watching the races, you can make your decisions kind of on the spot. I'm not going to get into all of how and why I came up with my picks. That would take way, way too long. So we're just going to kind of cut right to it. So the first set of races, it does break up into 2 days. There's Friday and Saturday. And Friday, they basically just have the 5 juvenile races, which are for the 2-year-olds. And then Saturday, they have the big kahunas, like all the bigger races. But we're going to go through both cards. So Friday is 2-year-old day, and 2-year-olds are normally very volatile in general. So you are going to get some, you know, you're going to get quite a bit of variance. So usually big favorites are pretty vulnerable. And let's see if we can't find some value here. So we're going to start actually in order. They have this in a weird order here. We're going to go in order of when the races start. So we're going to start with a Juvenile Turf Sprint. First post is 2:30. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of value to be had in this race. The favorite here, Golden Pal. Where is he? Golden Pal. It's 8-5 morning line. It's probably going to go up at 3-5 or 4-5, and it's clearly the most likely winner. You know, unfortunately though, or fortunately, his odds are going to be such that you just can't play him. He's the most likely winner, but he's not going to win more than 50% of the time, which is what you're going to need to bet on him if he's about even money. So you really can't use him, even though he is the most likely winner. There are several live long shots that have about 10% winning chances. And if any of these are 15-1 or higher, you can use them. One of them is 2nd of July. They're listed at 8-1 morning line right now, but take a look. I mean, if you do see him drifting up to 15-1, then you can certainly play him. And the other one to keep an eye on, where is he, is Momos. I mean, he's 15-1 morning line. And if he stays around there, you can certainly play him as well. As a matter of fact, you could probably drag him at 10-1 maybe. Nah, I think you still need about 15-1. So that would be my advice in this race. Is it's probably not a good betting race, probably not a good way to start off the betting of the Breeders' Cup, but it is what it is. So I would say the most likely winner is going to be Golden Pal. And if I had to guess, the best value, probably this Momo's horse, number 7. All right, we're going to now go ahead to the Juvenile Turf, which is at the second race of the day. Juvenile Turf. This is an extremely competitive race. However, the most likely winner is also a pretty decent price. This one Seal Away, I feel, is the most likely winner, and if you can get him actually at 8-1, 8-1, 10-1, something like that, that's certainly good enough for me. So I would definitely look to Seal Away here as both the most likely winner and perhaps good value. The only thing that there's another horse that's really, really long. I want to keep an eye on here. Get to it in a second. See, underneath him, there's a whole bunch of horses that can win. But honestly, the two most likely winners, aside from Seal Away, who's already good price at 8-1, are going to be pretty long. For me, the next two most likely winners are Go Atletico. He's 10-1. That's sort of long. But also the next most likely winner is probably Devil Walla. And Devil Walla is 30-1 morning line. So this is probably going to be the best value horse of this race, is Devil Walla. So what I would do, I mean, keep an eye on it, obviously the odds, but Seal Away, most likely winner, and 8-9-1, both of them be, so it's a really good bet. And Devil Walla at 30-1, it just kind of oozes value. He's just, it's not a lock or anything, but he's probably going to win this race like 10% of the time. And if you're going to get 30-1 on something that's going to happen 1 out of 10 times, I mean, it's, you're probably not going to win, but in the long run, you're going to win, if that makes any sense. So that is the Juvenile Turf. Let's go ahead to the Juvenile Phillies. So here's the deal with the Juvenile Phillies race. What I have is I have about 5 horses that are pretty much equal, but another one who's just behind with extremely long odds. So here are the horses that look pretty equal. Simply Ravishing, Vequist, Day Out of the Office, who I make slightly the most likely winner, and then Girl Daddy and Princess Noor. I mean, all these are pretty equal. Just maybe 1 percentage point or 2 percentage points behind them, though, is this Crazy Beautiful. And at 20-1, that's kind of ridiculous. So what I would do is, again, accept the fact that it's clearly not the most likely winner, but if you play this race out 1,000 times, you'll make more money betting on Crazy Beautiful than any other horse. So Crazy Beautiful at 20-1 is going to be clearly, this is, at least in my world, the best value of the race. And if I had to pick a most likely winner for some reason, I would say Day Out of the Office. Slightly better than these other shorter horses. Okay, that's the Juvenile Phillies. Let's go ahead to Juvenile Phillies Turf. Okay. Notes over here. So here, this is the deal with Juvenile Phillies Turf. The favorite here I hate. Ant Pearl, I think, is a terrible favorite. He probably has about 10% winning chances going off about 3-1. I wouldn't play him at all. The most likely winner by, I mean, I don't want to say by a lot, but clearly for me is Campanelle. Now, it's only 4-1, so it's not like you're getting 10-1 on something that's a lock or anything like that, but definitely is the most likely winner, certainly more likely to win than Ant Pearl. So he's fine. I don't think you're actually going to get 4 or 5-1. If you can get it, great. But what I might end up doing is going with one of 2 horses that are a little bit longer. One is going to be this Miss Amulet, and where is he? She has the 2 and as 12-1 morning line. So if you can get 12-1 on that, she's fine. And the other one, again, if you want something a little crazier, Spanish Love Affair is also really long at 15-1, and it's got almost as good a chance as Campanelle. should I say almost? I mean, it's probably twice as less likely to win. But if you're getting 15 to 1 compared to 4 to 1, that's what you have to do to make money long term in horse racing, or pretty much in anything. Is just take that relative value where you can get it. So for me, Campanelle, most likely winner. Best value is probably going to be Spanish Love Affair. And then I guess the final race of the day is going to be the Juvenile. So let's get to that. The Juvenile, where's that right here? Okay. So the Juvenile, the favorite is going to be Jackie's Warrior, who's going to be about 3 to 5. 7 to 5 morning line. It'll be about even money. I think reinvestment risk is just as good. I think they're pretty equal. As a matter of fact, I think if you really put a gun to my head, I would say reinvestment risk is actually the most likely winner. So at 9 to 2, yeah, it's definitely a better price, a better value than the 7, than Jackie's Warrior. But yet still, I mean, it's not like 9 to 2 is such a great price on reinvestment risk. So on a relative basis, certainly better than Jackie's Warrior. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could happen in this race. So I think that just getting 5 to 1 might not be enough for reinvestment risk as a bet. What I like is there's about 4 other horses underneath that have just all this winning upside. Certainly not as likely to win as the top 2, but their odds are going to be so huge. So I'm going to go over some of them. So Next, 11 is one of them. Who are some of the others? Rombauer, where was he? The 13 is 15 to 1. And then the big bomb is going to be Dreamer's Disease at 30 to 1. I mean, this is just the type of thing I'll always bet. I mean, he probably has about 10% winning chances, and he's 30 to 1. I mean, just give it to me. So for me, I'm going to play Dreamer's Disease. I might even do some exacts with Dreamer's Disease and reinvestment risk. But reinvestment risk, probably the most likely winner. And I say Dreamer's Disease probably be my favorite value play. Okay, so that is Friday. So let's now scooch ahead to the, where is it? To the Saturday card, starting with the Philly and Mare Sprint. And this race is just kind of an atrocious betting race. I'm going to go over it, but it's you really would want to sleep through this one. Not a great betting race at all, just no value. The favorite, Gamine, is going to be 3 to 5, and it's going to win. I mean, I say it's going to win. It's definitely the most likely winner. I guess live long shots, if you can get big prices, are Come Dancing, Speech. Who's the other one I liked? I guess that was it. Just Come Dancing and Speech. This Frank's Roquette's not even in. I thought he was going to be in. So you're not going to get any good price in this race. This race is a complete toss. You really want to pass this race. But most likely winner is going to be Gamine. But after that, I mean, it's just a race you're just not supposed to be betting. All right. So next race is the Turf Sprint. So let's pull that one up. And this is where, I mean, for me at least, it's one of my favorite races of the whole weekend. For me, my 2 most likely winners are also just big value. So for me, there is check the spelling on that one, but Wildman Jack is, for me, the most likely winner by a little bit, and it's 15 to 1 morning line. So you could just send all that over here. It's not necessarily going to win, but again, you play this race out a million times and you keep betting Wildman Jack, you are going to be very rich. So I like him a lot. And the other one I like a lot is from the rail, this Big Runner, and it's kind of snuck a different spelling there past me, huh? So I got my actual write-up. I have to make sure that I spell that correctly. So hold on, I gotta fix one thing here. So for me, it's easy. It's Big Runner, and it's Wildman Jack, and these two horses are both just extremely strong. They're really, really good values, and they're also the most likely winners. That's the way it goes. Right. I'm not making this up. They're calling this race the Big Ass Fans Dirt Mile. Beats me. So not the greatest betting race in the world. The two fastest horses, the two best horses, are probably going to be Knicks Go, and also the other is Chalk Horse, which is going to be Complexity. I think the Complexity is probably the most likely winner by a little bit. You're not going to get enough good enough price on either of them to bet. The only one that I think you could get a good price on that's worth it is Sharp Samurai. So if you can actually get 15 to 1 on Sharp Samurai, he's definitely kind of one of, not like a 10% winning chance type of horse. So you could get some value out of that. So for me, not a great betting race, but Complexity, most likely winner, and the best value is going to be, for me, Sharp Samurai. All right, let's move on to the Philly and Mare turf race. So Philly and Mare turf race, there's a clear, for me, most likely winner. Unfortunately, it's going to be short. Rushing Fall at 5 to 2 is the most likely winner. And it's going to sound weird for me saying it, but yeah, if you can get 4 to 1 on it, great. Go ahead and play it. You're just not going to get it. So it's going to be tough. If you want to play other horses, I think the next best are going to be one of these three: Starship Jubilee, Sister Charlie, or Mean Mary. But either all three of these rate to be not to be that great prices. So if you, man, you want something else, these two, Mucho Unusual, Harvey's Little Goyle. These two could have just as good a chance to get in the number, maybe 30 to 1, 20 to 1. They're both fine. There's probably not a lot of, probably no value in this race, honestly. I mean, those horses are long, but this horse, Rushing Fall, is really, really sharp. Sharp. Really, really solid. Price is fair. It's probably going to win, but 14 horses, just so many variances, so many variations here, that his price is just not going to be good enough to justify betting it. Probably just going to be another, another race you could pass. Hopefully this edits in right. With the sprint race, the sprint, as usual, it's just a war. I mean, there's just a lot of possible outcomes. CZ Rocket might be the most likely winner, but if so, just barely, and I'm certainly not going to be betting it. We're going to focus on a couple of others. I think that could be the most likely winner, but maybe just a little off, is Frenzy Fire. It's 8 to 1 morning line. Looks really, really good, and I would certainly bet that one before CZ Rocket. The other way you can go, or there are two total bombs that probably have about 8 to 9 winning chances, and that's going to be Hogcrete Hustle, who is the 12 at 30 to 1, and then this Echo horse, wherever he is, where's Echo something? Echo Town from the rail at 20 to 1 morning line. Either of those two horses probably should only be like 10 to 1, and you're getting twice the odds on those. So in the sprint, I mean, that's where I'm at. I would say that most likely winners between CZ Rocket and maybe what's the name, Frenzy Fire. Frank's Rockette's not terrible at 10 to 1 either, but I think Frenzy Fire is very, very strong at 8 to 1. And if you want big bombs, you could try Hogcrete Hustle and Echo Town. Okay. 4 races left. Breeders' Cup Mile is the next one, not the dirt mile, but the regular mile, the FanDuel mile, actually. So for me, there are two horses that are close to the most likely winners. I go back and forth between this one. And that would be between Factor This, 8-1 morning line from 13. And also a most likely winner is probably Digital Age. I don't know exactly which one I like more. I go back and forth on them. But either of those two are the most likely winners. And probably a great horse to use as a value play is March to the Arch. At 15-1, again, this horse probably is about, 10 to 11% winning chances. Get 15-1 on him. That's going to be really, really good. So this is actually a pretty good betting race. If you use Digital Age, March to the Arch, and Factor This, you're in good shape. I mean, Evar, I don't like at a short price. Uni, I really don't like at a short price. Halliday is not bad at 12-1, but I like the other guys that I mentioned more. So for me, it's Factor This, March to the Arch, and Digital Age. Okay, moving on, just a couple more left. Let's go to the Distaff, best fillies and mares running. So for me, the most likely winner is probably the favorite. It's probably going to be, where is she? Mona Me Girl. It's going to be 6-5. Just never loses. So it's going to be the favorite. And it's probably the most likely winner. However, just a smidge behind her is clearly the best value in the race, and that's the one CC. Honestly, I think that Mona Moy maybe wins this race 55% of the time that CC does not win it. I'm not saying that Mona Moy wins it 55% of the time. I'm just saying that I think that if you race this, again, like 100 times, that CC beats Mona Moy at least 40% of the time, maybe more. And CC is 12-1. If that's real, this is an easy value for me. So she is clearly my favorite in this race. Swiss Skydiver is too short, 2-1. Ollie's Candy is an okay long shot at 10-1, and the other okay long shot is Dunbar Road at 12-1. But for me, CC's kind of a standout with respect to value. I mean, it's almost the most likely winner, and it's 12-1. So give that to me. Most likely winner, again, Mona Moy Girl, but clearly for me, the best value is CC. Okay, two more races. The Longines Turf Race, which it's not the way it usually works. Usually in this race, there's usually one kind of standout that I'm either trying to just beat or just kind of, just accept that it's just going to be a bad favorite that wins. But in this particular running, you can make a case for a lot of horses. I was able to narrow it down to maybe 4 or 5, and I guess I would say the most likely winner, and this is by a tiny little bit, is United at 8-1. To the point where I don't even know if it's a good bet at 8-1, even though it's the most likely winner, just because it's so close between all these horses. I'll tell you where the value is. Now, this is a horse that's only going to win about 10% of the time, but it's 30-1. All right, Donja this could come in 8th, okay? But it's got upside, it's got winning chances, it's got about 10% winning chances as far as my numbers are concerned. At 30-1, that's the best value for me by a lot. So I'm probably going to end up with both United and Donja, and that's where I'm going to be. And unfortunately, if you came and just sat through all this to try to get a pick in the Classic, I hate to disappoint you, but gotta, as the kids say, keep it real. There's just no value here. I mean, here's my analysis of the race. I feel as though these horses are priced fairly relative to their winning chances. I think that Tiz the Law is the most likely winner by a little bit. And then I think that Authentic is probably the second most likely winner. And there's really no great value. I was hoping that Tom's Day Todd might go off at 15-1. It's just not going to happen. All these horses are pretty fairly priced relative to the winning chances. I don't like Maximum Security at 7-2. I'm not a big fan of Authentic. It's only 6-1. So Improbable, I think, is bad at 5-2. You know, I just don't really like any of this at these prices. So unfortunately, I'm just going to probably have to sit out of the Classic, and I'm going to have to recommend you do too. I hate to do this to you because that is the biggest race, but it's what's gonna be. So again, I tried to give you some guidance to these races, but you're going to have to honestly just be there to see the odds and make your decisions accordingly. But I gave you a kind of a guideline of what types of odds you should expect and what you should look for in some of these. And just for fun, I did go over the most likely winners and hopefully some good values also. Good luck to everybody, and let's get it.